Once upon a time in a lush green forest, there lived a sly and clever fox. He was known throughout the forest for his quick wit and intelligence. Every animal respected him for his cunning ways and sought him out for advice whenever they needed it. But the fox had one bad habit. He always wanted to do things quickly. He never liked to waste time. Because of this, he would often make mistakes that could have been avoided if he had just taken his time and thought things through properly. In the same forest, there lived a wise and patient owl. He was known for his calm demeanor and his ability to see things from different perspectives. Unlike the fox, the owl took his time to think before he acted. And because of this, he was rarely ever wrong. One day, the fox was rushing through the forest and he came across a wide river. He needed to cross the river, but he didn't want to take the long way around. So he started looking for a shortcut. After searching for a while, he finally spotted what looked like a fallen log that stretched over the water. It seemed like the perfect shortcut for the fox. So, without taking the time to check it properly, he jumped onto the log and started walking towards the other side. As soon as he stepped on the log, it began to move. The fox realized that what he thought was a log was actually a giant crocodile. And now it was trying to make a meal out of him. The fox panicked and started running for his life. He ran as fast as he could, dodging the crocodile's snapping jaws. Finally, he managed to escape, but he had to admit that he had made a big mistake. He had been in such a hurry to find a shortcut that he had untaken the time to properly assess the situation. If he had, he would have realized that the crocodile was not a log. Exhausted and hungry, the fox decided to take a break. He sat down on a nearby rock and sighed. That's when he saw the owl sitting in a tree nearby. The fox knew that the owl was wise and respected, so he decided to go to him for help. He explained to the owl what had happened and how he had almost become the crocodile's dinner. The owl listened patiently to the fox's story and then spoke. "My dear fox, why do you always rush? Why don't you take your time to think things through properly?" the owl asked. "I'm sorry, wise owl," the fox replied. "But I can't help it. I'm just a quick and clever fox. I like to do things quickly," the fox said proudly. "Being quick and clever is a good thing," the owl said. "But sometimes you need to take your time and be patient. Rushing and making decisions quickly can lead to mistakes, my friend." The fox thought about the owl's words. He knew that the owl was right, but he didn't want to admit it. He was too proud. "I understand what you're saying, wise owl," the fox replied. "But I don't think it would have made a difference in that situation. Even if I had taken my time, I still would have had to cross the river. And who knows, maybe I would have found another crocodile if I had kept looking for a shortcut." The owl shook his head and said, "You are wrong, my friend. You forget that being clever is not just about being quick. It's also about being wise and patient. A clever fox knows when to be quick and when to take his time. It is not enough to be quick or clever. You must also be wise and patient. Otherwise, your quickness could lead to danger, and your cleverness could lead to nothing." The fox thought about the owl's words and realized that he was right. He had been so focused on being quick and clever that he had forgotten about the other important qualities of being a good hunter. Patience and wisdom were just as important as his speed and intelligence. He thanked the owl for his advice and promised to try to be more patient in the future. The owl nodded and said, "I believe you, my friend. Now go and get some rest. You will need your strength for the hunt." The fox went to find some food. This time he took his time and thought carefully about his next move. He remembered the owl's advice and tried to be patient. And because of this, he was able to find plenty of food to eat. From that day on, the fox tried to be more like the owl, patient and wise. He learned that being quick and clever was not enough. He needed to be wise and patient too. Otherwise, his cleverness wouldn't work. One day, the fox was walking through the forest when he heard some commotion. He followed the sound and saw a group of animals gathered around a tree. They were all looking up at the branches, and the fox soon realized why. There, high up in the tree, was a little bird. It had gotten stuck and couldn't get out. The bird was scared and crying out for help. The fox knew he could easily catch the bird, but instead of doing so, he did something that surprised everyone. He started talking to the bird, trying to calm it down. "Don't be afraid, little bird," the fox said. "I won't hurt you. I'll help you get out of there." The bird stopped crying and looked at the fox with gratitude. The fox then turned to the other animals and said, "We need to work together to help this bird. If we pull on these branches, maybe we can make it fall and free the bird." The animals agreed, and they all started pulling on the branches. Slowly but surely, they managed to get the branches to move, and the bird was finally free. The animals cheered and thanked the fox for his help. They had all seen how the fox had treated the bird with kindness and respect, and they were impressed. The bird, who had been very scared at first, now hopped happily around the fox, chirping merrily. It was clear that the bird was grateful to the fox for saving its life. The fox felt good about himself. He had helped someone in need, and it felt great. He knew that he could have easily caught the bird and eaten it, but he had chosen to help it instead. And now the bird was his friend. As the sun began to set, the fox decided to head home. He was tired from the day's adventures, but he was also happy. He had learned an important lesson about patience and wisdom, and he had made a new friend along the way. As he walked through the forest, he couldn't help but smile. He felt good about himself and the world around him. From that day on, the fox became known throughout the forest not only for his cleverness, but also for his patience and wisdom. The animals respected and admired him, and he was no longer known as the foolish fox who always rushed into things. Instead, he was known as the wise fox who knew when to be quick and when to take his time.